And there they were suddenly. Okay,
Hello.
now we gotta center ourselves here.
Yeah.
Hello, young lady. We got to scoot closer to you, I guess.
There you go.
There we go. Hello, Healing Journeys today. Butch and Julieann Hartman here. Welcome to the HARTbeat show. We need the HARTbeat dancers or something like the HARTbeat
We need like
choir.
you know what we need?
Like
we need
Donnie
like
and Marie from the 70s.
Yeah, we need like a
Tons of people know
sound effect that's going boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, like a giant heartbeat, because that's a super attractive sound. It's like
Yeah.
it kind of sounds weird
Get
though.
this
doesn't
off
it?
my neck.
You want to tell them what that is?
It's a phone.
It's a
in
phone.
phone case.
She has this giant strap that it's
Hey,
like it's almost
listen.
like a lasso, like you're a horse or something.
Yeah, but everybody loves it though, and I see more people getting them because I have them.
The phones, the strap.
Me and Instagram.
Yeah, it gets in the way of things. I would think. I don't know. Anyway, guys,
after a while, I feel like I'm chained to my phone.
Yeah,
I literally
aren't we all these days? Well, hey, welcome back to HARTbeat, guys. We're Butch and Julieann Hartman. Welcome to Healing Journeys today. We talk about relationships and marriages and all that fun stuff. If you're married or in a relationship, we want to at least let you know that we're here to talk to you. Whatever your issues are with your marriage or relationship, or a question you might have, or something you're going through.
Good things
a victory you've just had. We would love to hear it, and I know the audience would love to hear it. So please share just right now. Share in the chat. Let us know how things are going. And just so you know, we've been married 30 years as of May 9th. 2022. I cannot believe 30 years has gone by. It has been so quick.
Say that when it goes to 31.
Actually, yeah, we absolutely are, because that's going to be 31 years. Someone says hello from Laramie, Wyoming. Gretchen, nice to see you. Yes. Tyler, our buddy. Tyler is always here.
I know.
I don't even think Tyler's married yet, but I think Tyler is always here.
Girlfriend though.
Tyler might have a girlfriend. I don't even know, but Tyler, we're so grateful that you're here. Thanks, buddy. And Gretchen, how are you? Anybody out there who's been helped by Healing Journeys, please let us know. Let us know who your favorite teacher is in Healing Journeys as well. Don't forget to share. Nice. Don't forget to share these videos. Don't know what's
not nice.
Why is it not nice?
Share your favorite teacher. What reason they feel bad? What if I'm
I'm not allowed to say I got a favorite teacher?
Well, you can.
I mean, what about like my favorite movie? I can't say what my favorite movie is because the other movies will get offended.
Your least favorite teacher.
I didn't say that. How about this? Let us know who some of your favorite teachers are.
No, but I also would like to know that I want you guys, because we always talk about things that we can fix and change in a marriage. What about things that have worked for you?
Yeah,
things that write that or
share that in the chat.
Share that in the chat. So I just
start
your head off.
All right, start over again. You're doing this. Share that in the chat. That's what we're trying to say. There we go.
Share that in the chat. Well, you're leaning forward. That's why your head is.
Alexander says, hello. I love all the Healing Journeys teaching what they bring to the table. That's a very politically correct thing to say there, Alexander. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think the Healing Journeys teachers could handle it if you had favorites and we're just wondering if they've been reached by someone particular. I know a lot of times we have talks about certain people who, really connect with certain teachers and all that stuff. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I'm not for everyone. I know that for sure.
Because as far as you're not everyone's favorite?
Yeah, only because I know my personality is not for everyone.
Hey everybody, is her personality for everybody? What do you think out there, folks? Well, your personality is for me, and that's really all that
matters. All that matters.
Keith Nance says, hi, Butch and Julieann. Love you guys.
Love you too,
Keith Nance, we love you too, because his name is Nance, and that rhymes with dance.
Hey, Keith.
Also rhymes with ants in the pants. Yes.
Whoever else is on there too, I want you to put in the chat things that do work, like just one thing that does work really well in your marriage.
Yeah, what has worked for you? Because it might help other people as well. We want to hear the good stuff as well as the stuff you might need a question answered. We're here for that as well. By the way, we're not perfect. We don't know all the answers, but we know some. So I think we know a few answers.
Well, we had, honestly, it's not because we studied it. We just lived it.
We lived it.
We lived it. So,
we have lived it. So I'll tell you one thing we're living through right now, which is interesting. If any of you have Keith says Julieann is my favorite. Well, there you go. Thank you, Keith. And
that's so sweet.
Keith is fired. Okay, great. I'm joking. I love Keith. No, Keith, we love you, buddy. And I can see why you're his favorite. You get right to the point. That's what Keith Nance needs.
That's true. Sometimes, yeah.
Hey, what we're living through right now, we have a loved one that's been dealing with some medical issues lately. That's Julieann's mom. We talked about it here. She's been in and out of certain care facilities here and there, and we're dealing with that whole world. And she's doing better. She's getting better. Every day things are improving. But we really had to learn. We've learned this before with other things too. But unity in the marriage is of utmost importance, because if you're not united in your marriage and something like this comes up where your wife's parent or your parent or a friend or whoever it would be ends up in a medical situation that's completely out of your control, you've got to know that your partner, I hate using that word partner, but I like using the word your spouse, your spouse is on the same page as you are, and your spouse is there to support you as well. Tyler Caswell says, Butch Hartman is my favorite. So look at that.
Of course.
So there you go. Gretchen says, have you heard of the book 4 Habits of a Joy-Filled Marriage? Have not. Gretchen. Did you write that book, Gretchen? I bet Gretchen or Keith Nance wrote the book. You never know. So unity in the marriage is very, very important. So how do we stay united in the marriage? Julieann.
Well, communication, number one. You know, there's a lot of things, especially with the fact that I have this platform, or we have this platform, because, you know, I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of emails. Yes. Plus we also are pastors, and it's very easy to just be there at everyone's beck and call. And it can happen to you.
This is iced tea, by the way.
Yes, no, it's a Long Island iced tea.
No, not this time. It's not.
No, I'm kidding. But
it's not a Long Island.
But you have to make sure that you keep a balance. You have to make sure you keep a balance. As far as going back to being on the phones, texting somebody when you're having time with your spouse. And so that could just be your friend group. That could be ministry. That could be whatever. It could be anything. But you've got to make sure that you keep a balance with your spouse, because someone's going to feel left out when, you know, the old saying is you're out there saving the world, but then your own children or your own spouse is the one that's suffering at home. It's really hard to take care of the world when your personal world is falling apart. It really, truly is. Yeah, plus the fact too, when you try to take care of the world, you're saying, don't, God, you just go, you rest. I got this. Yeah. God, God, I'm more powerful than you. I can. Yeah, I've got the answers, Lord. But we want to do is we want to lead people to the one who does have the answer. We're just giving our own experience, but that's just us. You're never going to be us. You're never going to take on our us-isms. You're going to have your own. And so we're just here to tell you, you know, talk through some things that we've dealt with. But the bottom line is that Jesus is the super glue of your marriage and your relationship, and you really should be. If you learn to place him first in all things, including what should I say to my spouse at this time? They just said something to me that really hurt my feelings. Should I respond my way, or should I do it the Lord's way? That's something you can do. Well, Lydia says, usually though, in a heated argument, you're not going, oh yeah, Lord, how should I answer this? How should I know. That's why I'm saying you got to train yourself to do that. Yes. Lydia says hi from Casa Grande, Arizona. Hello. You Lydia. Live where Jonathan Peterson lives. You do. So, but you're right though. How do you train yourself? Seriously. Well, you've got to have Jesus in the middle. Harness the emotions, like Andrew Wommack wrote the book, Harnessing Your Emotions. That is number one, that you have to harness them. You can't have a knee-jerk reaction. Do I? Of course I do. Do I do it all the time? Most of the time. But I've really tried to train myself in the last couple of years to not have a knee-jerk reaction, to say, what is, Lord, show me what I need to do right now. I'm feeling this way. You know, when my eyes might be closed, I'm feeling this way and I don't want to. Lord, show me the way. What should I do right now? Absolutely. And if you're trained to do that, then it will be much easier to rely on the Lord, because you're used to bringing him into your life. You're used to talking to him. A lot of you out there probably have somebody you call every day, like your mom, your dad, your spouse, maybe your sister, your brother, whoever it is. Yeah. I know you talk to your mom a lot. You talk to our daughter, Carly, all the time. Well, Carly too. And Sophia too, and Carly. But I mean, I guess I'm saying Carly because Carly doesn't live here and she calls you all the time. But Sophia, she's here all the time. Right. But you need to involve Jesus in your life just that much, where you talk to him that much. Oh, I know. You know, back in the day, for years, if Butch and I were having any kind of situation, I would immediately call my mom and want to tell my mom about it. Really? And yeah, because that's what girls do, right? Okay. But the Lord taught me. And showed me that that's not your first person to call, if you will, is call on the Lord and ask him, like, and then I just started doing that. I'm like, Lord, I know you know Butch better than my mom does. You know Butch better than I do. What do we do right now? How do I get rid of these feelings? How do I give you those feelings? How do I, have him be maybe forgiving towards me because of the thing I said or the thing I did? any of that kind of stuff, right? Those are things that we go to the Lord right away, because here's the deal. I'm just going to take me as a woman. My mom obviously loves me, cares about me. If she takes my side,
she loves me a lot more than you.
She does. No, but if for some reason my mom were to take my side when she shouldn't, because she's just my mom, then that's very bad advice for you. You don't take someone's side just because you gave birth to them. You need to weigh out and see exactly what's going on. That's why when we do counseling and stuff, we always go to, okay, what's the situation here? I'm not going to go based on like, well, it's that person and I know they're good people and all that stuff. No, we've got to, everybody has an opportunity to say something that maybe isn't very nice to the other person.
Well, I would just say this. If you're married to somebody and you are trying to get allies on your side so you can feel right about what's just transpired, that's probably a wrong way to go about it. But that's our first reaction, though, really. Seriously, if you're not trained in how to harness your emotions and how to step into a different reality. See, here's the deal. We are born into this reality, this world that we're born into, right? And we're dealing with the people that we're brought into it. Whatever family you are born into, you're going to deal with their reality. But when you have Christ in your life, you're then brought into his reality. His reality fills your heart. So what reality will you speak out of your life, out of your mouth every day?
Yeah.
Is it the reality of your earthly family that's always been dealing with this, and this? Or is it the reality of Jesus Christ who says, I've overcome the world, let not your heart be troubled. By his stripes you're healed. I love your neighbor as yourself. Are you doing it that way? Or are you doing it the world where it's like, well, you were mean, so I'm going to get all my friends to be mad at you because I'm mad at you right now. That's like the natural way.
Yeah.
And then there's the spiritual way.
Yeah.
So which way are we learning how to do it? And if you can do it equally yoked, like I'm equally yoked with this lady right here, we had to learn how to be equally yoked too, because at first we weren't. She went to church and I didn't, because I wanted nothing to do with church, not because I despised church. I just didn't know what church was about. And I think you've also learned this too, if you're a Christian person or a person who goes to church. Not every church is the greatest church in the world either.
No.
And that's a whole different exploratory phase of your life when you're trying to find the right church to go to too. So there's all of that. See, now you like the iced tea. See, look at that. I here in LA, it's been over 100 degrees for like 2 weeks. And so every icy drink I can get my hands on, I have around me all the time.
It's actually 97 today. That's not too bad. Yesterday was 107. But
Gretchen says this real quick. You can go into your mom's circle, the family you grew up in, but once you're married, your parents can come into your circle.
If you let them.
If you let them.
I know, like I said, it didn't happen right away because we weren't even safe for the first 8 years. But even like today, if I were to get irritated with them or for something dumb that's going on, I'm not going to call my daughters and say, do you know what your dad did? Like, there's no way. Or do you know what?
Well, you could do that. I mean, some parents do.
But that's awful that you would involve your children in your own thing, because no matter what, it's their dad.
A lot of parents will sometimes make that decision because they feel like, well, my spouse isn't listening, so I'll call my almost adult child and I'll talk to them because they'll listen to me. And like you were just saying, involving your kids in these adult grown-up things. Your child might be 25, they might be grown up, but still, sometimes they shouldn't be hearing the things between you and your spouse.
I do believe that there's not sometimes, it's all times. I don't think your kids should ever know, because I know for me, because with the situation we had at my house, there are things I did not need to know about my father. I just didn't need to know that, especially after we'd left. It's like, just let me have a moment of thinking that I had a father. I knew he wasn't great. I saw what he did, but at least let me just have a father, right? Have a dad, a natural dad. But I just realized I forgot something. I got to tell Sophia to bring it. Because I was thinking about somebody that is going through a tough time right now, in their marriage. And so, but the bottom line is this, don't paint a picture of what's going on in your heart to your children about their father or their mother. Or this works both ways, or their mother. And
or one of their siblings.
Yeah. Even. So you go to the Lord. Literally, there is not one circumstance, not one thing that could happen in a family unit dynamic that you don't need to go to the Lord for. Need to go to the Lord to for.
Right.
Nothing.
The Lord to for.
the Lord. Go to the Lord for. God, that didn't sound right at all. Go to the Lord for. He's got to be our first response.
Yeah.
In everything. He has to be our first response in every way. So our response is going to be, Lord, right? Texting, hey, Lord, what do I do right now? Right? Whatever it might be, but just ask him, because he knows what you need. He knows how much you need it. He loves you. He wants to see your marriage succeed. He wants to see you be free. He wants to see you out of the trouble that you might be experiencing right now. He wants everything good for you 100%.
And the last thing, and Alexander says it very wisely here, and she's a very wise girl. The Bible says the first resort should be dealing with issues with the person we're upset with privately, not announcing it to the world. Yeah. Exactly right. And here's why. The last thing Jesus wants is for a virus to spread. If the virus of hate begins to spread from one person to, well,
for the times we're living in.
Well, exactly right. Well, the last thing Jesus wants is for hatred and false witness and gossip to spread.
Yeah.
And things should be kept private. Absolutely. Yeah. And listen, yes, there are times when if something's really out of hand, a spouse can involve other people. Absolutely. We're not saying that at all. But talking about the everyday stuff, the petty stuff where one spouse is having an issue with the other, right, and involving other people, you've really got to be careful about that, because number one, the person you're talking to might not be friends with you for the rest of your life. And number two, they'll start to form an opinion. Number three, they're probably going to start spreading it to other people. And then that's where gossip starts. That's where things get going. That's where rumors start. That's where people's feelings really get out of hand. And it's really sad. Yeah. And you don't want that at all. Matthew 19:4-6 says, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother.
Right.
That's key. Leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. They're not two people anymore. They're one. Do you have the same bank account as your spouse? Let me ask you that question. We got married. It took us 3 years to get our bank accounts together because, well, I'll just have my own bank account. She'll have hers. And we need to have a joint bank account. Who needs that? We had to start making our things one because we lived separately away from each other for so long. We lived single for so long. But I want to go here again. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate. Don't let people separate your marriage. Don't let the opinions of others separate it. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother. Let me ask you this. You might be physically out of the house of your father or your mother. You've married your spouse. You're out of the house. But are you out of the house up here? Are your parents super involved in your marriage every day, and are they calling the shots in your marriage? That's another way that unity in marriage gets destroyed, because a lot of times the husband can't leave the mother, and the mom has to be involved in every bit of the marriage, or the wife can't leave her father and he's got to be involved in everything. You've really got to watch that. Yes, there's family, but then there's also husbands and wives being their own family unit without involving, their own parents all the time. You've really got to watch. Who are you married to? Are you married to your spouse, or are you married to your parents? Are you married to your family? Who are you married to?
That's what I saw in my family. I saw my sisters run to my mom for advice
without talking to their
husbands. And
how many times have been married?
Many times, but I'm just saying that it never worked out well. Because the mom is mainly, most of the time, I mean, for me, I would not just take the side of my daughter, because I never did that when they were growing up in school. I want to know the whole story. I wouldn't just say like, well, my daughter is perfect, and so obviously everybody else is wrong. So in a situation like maybe your children are having with their spouses, I'd say, well, what happened? Like, let's hear put it all on the table, because our daughter might be wrong, right? And I have no problem saying that. But the main thing is we just keep going back to, no matter what, you want to keep your communication line open with the Lord, so that you're talking with him. So he's telling you what to do. He's telling you when to go back, or he's telling you how to say certain things. He's telling you when to say certain things. He's telling you, what the environment should look like when you tell them those things. No one knows your spouse more than the Lord does. Wait, no one knows
your spouse better
than you, than the Lord. Why am I getting that out?
Wait, what are you trying to say?
The Lord knows you better than you think you know your spouse. The Lord knows you and your spouse better than what you think you know about yourself.
That's better. That's you're closing in.
Getting in there.
We're closing in.
I'm landing the plane right
I
now.
think everybody got it. You guys understand? If you understood that, say yes in the chat. We'd love to know if you understood that.
Anyway, but just please know this, that the Lord knows what your spouse needs before you know what he or she needs. And he can help you. He's the spirit of truth. So he speaks truth to you. And there's a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships that are, kind of based on old religious ways, if you will. And so
a lot of yeses here. Yes. A lot of people understood. There you go. See.
Thank you.
Anyway, all religious ways. I'm dying to hear this.
No, I'm not going to dig my hole that deep right now.
Okay.
But I refuse to do that. But, it's like a woman does have a say. And yes, husbands, you can go tell your wife you love them. You love her. You love him. You could tell your husband you love him. A lot of times people don't want to say that to their spouse, what is the point of being together? You guys just roommates? Like you're supposed to be in love with each other.
Exactly. A lot of marriages do end up where people just, it turns out they just become roommates. And, if we had not been careful, we would have ended up that way. Because let's face it, I've got a lot of my own interests that you don't share, and same with you. And if we both allowed ourselves to, if we allowed me to always be doing what I wanted to do over here, I would never see you. And if I allowed you to do whatever you want to do over here all the time, you would never see me. So we had to realize, look, we need to start working together on stuff. Like the stuff we do now, we do together all the time. And we just prefer it that way because that makes our union a lot stronger. Again, it's the leaving the father and the mother thing. It's leaving, and that also goes back to your old life. It's like when you leave your father and your mother, you're leaving your old life. You're leaving that phase. Phase 1 is mom and dad. Phase 2 is with your spouse, right? If you're in phase 2, you're doing it the right way. But you need to stay in phase 2 and learn how to operate in phase 2. I'm not saying you can't get advice from your parents. Just don't let them run your marriage. Don't let anybody run your marriage but the Lord, and then you listen to what he says. But how do I know what he says? You read the Bible. For example, Hebrews 13:4. Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. Let me just stop there. Let me go back to the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Let marriage be held in honor among all. Do you honor your marriage? Is it an honorable marriage? Do you honor your wife? Do you honor your husband? And when I talk about honor, do you talk bad about your husband, or do you talk bad about your wife to other people? Or do you honor them?
Especially to
I'm
your
just going to leave that right there. Yeah. To your kids.
Can't do that. Sorry, I breathed up. I got excited, and my saliva went the wrong way.
Did you say the word saliva here?
Well, no.
Do we need to even say that word? I don't even think we need to say that word.
Well, it's not a bad word. Okay.
It's not, but there's body fluids. You don't want to mention body fluids?
Marriage. Matthew 19:4. Well, actually, we'll start with, and he answered and said to them,
have you not read?
No, I know I was reading something. Okay. Have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let not man separate. And so that is really important, because they're not just talking about you separate, but let nothing else that might entice your eyes separate you from the one flesh that you became when you married your spouse. There's a lot of temptation out there, I mean, let's face it. It's like, gosh, commercials and stuff. Like yesterday I was with my mom, we were watching American Ninja or whatever. And it's like, wow, some of the clothing, you're going, boy, someone just a kid watching
American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah,
that show.
What I'm just saying is the commercials and stuff too. But I'm just saying that you try to keep your eyes from looking at stuff like that might make you lust or have temptation or something. But it's everywhere.
Well, it's particularly hard for men. I mean, why do you think there's so many more enticing magazines and periodicals and things for men? There's way more for men than women, because men are more enticed by what they see. They really are. And I was going to say too, why do you think marriage is very hard to hold on to these days because a good, strong marriage isn't glorified in the media anymore. It's just not.
True.
I mean, yes, I'm sure there's examples of where it is. I'm not saying it's not at all, but for the most part, Hollywood glorifies divorce, adultery. It's like glamorous. It's all these things are glamorous and all this stuff. The going behind people's backs and all that. It's all kind of sort of like, ooh, wow, it's very enticing.
Well,
It's
this
very
famous star now is on their 4th marriage.
well, yeah. Apparently, it's very cool to be married 7 times in Hollywood, and I'm not saying that people don't get divorced for reasons. I completely get it. Hollywood's a very interesting world. When you get people that are at a certain level of fame, it's very hard for them to relate to people that aren't at the same level as them. So they marry other people at the same level.
Yeah, or
and
on
then
the same show.
On the same show, but then those people are just people.
Yeah.
And then one gets more famous than the other. Jealousy comes in. You never know what happens here in those types of marriages. But that's why it's very hard to look at a good marriage through the media or through movies or television.
Or you can just look at People magazine because they have all the answers to all the.
I used to read People magazine.
I did too.
Because I'm a people guy.
And there was
I used to read all kinds of magazines.
Well, like when I wanted to be when we were struggling to be actors, it's like we would read those and be like, oh God, I want to be just like whoever it was that we were looking at their life and seeing all that, like, oh, that looks so cool. And it's like, you don't know what they live with every single day. First of all, the just whatever is going on in their life, plus the fact of having no privacy. That's weird, right?
It's totally weird. But back in the day when we were younger, we did think it was cool to want to be actors, and to be like, being famous will solve all of my problems. Or
we thought.
Or if I'm able to get a lot of money, that'll be my answer as well. Guys, listen, money's not the answer. No. Although money can be a great tool if you know how to use it properly. A great marriage can be such a benefit, not just to you, but to the rest of your family down the chain. What about this? What if we're not thinking about ourselves every single day? What if we're thinking about people 30 years from now that are going to react to all the decisions you're making right now? Okay. I go back 30 years ago when we first got married.
Yeah.
1992. If you can go back that far with me, the decisions we made back then are affecting the lives of our children and our lives right now. And all the people that we touch on a weekly basis through ministry, through the cartoons I make, through all the things that we do, we're touching the world in the way that we want to because of the decisions we made back then. There's many times we could have gotten divorced. There's many times we could have gotten in an argument, a petty thing that would have led to us breaking up because of some emotional thing. When you got sick for all those years, that could have ended things had we not known how to put our faces right in this Bible right here, right there. And if we didn't know how to do that, there's many ways our marriage could have ended. I'm trying to get across the point. Trying to get this point across. You are going to be affecting people for generations based on the decisions you make right now. I look at the decisions that my parents made, that your parents made, that their parents made, affecting people still to this day. My brothers, my cousins, my family, things that are happening in the family. I see decisions that were made decades ago still affecting individuals. Things still affect me to this day because of decisions that were made a long time ago. Yeah. And let me ask you this. Have you decided what your children get when you're no longer here on the earth? That's a united thing you have to do with your spouse. Do we have a will? Do we have our ducks in a row? Or we just letting everything just be left to chance? You need to think about that too. You need to think about the future. Think about the future of, like, a year from now, where will your marriage be? Have you thought of that?
Yeah.
Have you even made a plan for that? 1 year from now, we're going to be blank. 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 5 years from now, I'll be 62 years old.
Oh, God.
Can you believe that?
Well,
she'll be 60 in 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks?
I think so.
Is this the most beautiful 60-year-old you've ever seen in your life?
So weird.
If you think Julieann is beautiful, say yes in the chat, and I hope you all say yes because I know it's true.
Why do you do that?
Well, it's just why can't I do that?
1 Corinthians 7.
Do you not think you're beautiful? Is that why?
Yeah, I know, but it's just kind of embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
He's done that to me our whole life, and it's always like, oh, it's embarrassing. Anyway, First,
Gosh, I'm sorry, I'm
no,
embarrassed.
I know, and
I'm
that's
really
like, I know,
sorry.
doesn't that sound
Sorry, I
terrible?
said you were beautiful.
Yeah, no,
I won't
see,
say
don't
it
I
anymore.
sound like an idiot now that I would say that? But
Sorry, ladies, if your husband says you're beautiful, apparently it's really embarrassing. So don't let him say it.
I know.
Look at all the yeses coming in
know,
right
that's so
there.
sweet.
All right,
Thank
can
you.
we just?
Okay. 1 Corinthians 7:3. Let the husband render to his wife the affection due her, and likewise also the wife to her husband.
And stop. Have you rendered? By the way, rendered means give to. Right. Have you rendered to your wife the affection due to her? Gentlemen, are you out there giving affection to your wife? And I just mean, are you telling her she's beautiful? Are you putting your hand on her shoulder? Are you giving her a kiss on the cheek? Are you doing anything for her? Well, I give you hi, I love you, or whatever. I'm trying to keep it clean here. But the point is,
be honest, because there are certain, women like the affection. So if men can't give it, it's very sad because it's like we desire it, we require it.
No, listen, guys, you are wired completely differently than your wife, and wives, you are wired completely differently than your husband. I didn't do the wiring, God did the wiring, but we're wired to do our own things in our own way. That's why when we come together, that unit is so strong, because it's like a puzzle. The two pieces fit together perfectly and form an amazing picture. Yeah. And that's why children need both models in the house. Can children live with just a single mom or single dad? Of course they can, but it's not the ideal way. God made it the ideal way, where we're ideally supposed to have two parents. And I come from a single family home, a single parent home, so I know how difficult it can be.
So, and it doesn't just we're not just speaking to the husbands that maybe aren't showing enough.
Oh, I was going to get to the wives.
The wives.
You speak to the wives.
You have to do that too. It's like, okay, so maybe he's worked outside and he's sweaty and gross or something. And he walks in the door. You don't have to jump in his arms, but if you want to wait till he takes a shower, but at least let him know that he smells good, that you missed him, or whatever it is. It says here, okay, where it said, let the husband render to his wife the affection due her, and likewise also the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body. Oh,
freeze right there. What does that mean, Julieann?
Oh, that's bad.
Go back there. What's that say?
This next week because we're running out of time. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over your body, but I do.
Wow. Do not deprive one another. Okay, we'll get to that one later.
We're gonna finish this.
But this is First Corinthians chapter 7. You should read it. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 is the principles of marriage.
Right. So I did start at verse 3. So check it out. We're going to talk about it next week on HARTbeat. But yeah, so I have authority over his body. He has authority over mine.
How about that, folks?
You don't have authority over your own body.
Unbelievable.
That goes over so well with the times we're living in right now. Now you see how people say that old stuff in the Bible, that doesn't apply anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, that's why things look the way they do nowadays.
Well, guys, a strong marriage means strong family. Strong family means
strong values.
Strong values. It means strong future. It means strong everything. If you can keep your marriage strong, and if you can get your personal small issues out of the way, and I say this because it is about my own feelings as well. I can't let my little tiny little dinky little worries and offenses get in the way of building a strong marriage, and we've had to learn that over the years. I think we're learning it even more every day.
And listen, we still grow every day.
Oh, every day. We are not perfect at all, guys.
And you grow in this way. I see him every day. We work together, but we also have to tell each other new updated things. Hey, listen, I love that shirt you're wearing today. Compliment him. Whatever it is. I love the way that you represented us well, or whatever.
I tell people you're beautiful online, you get mad at me.
And I get mad at you. That's right. So yeah. So anyway.
Right, guys? Isn't that cool?
We love you right now. And we will see you next Tuesday. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out my interview with Angela Johnsky on Saturday.
Part 3
of the journey. And the amazing, awesome, wonderful, just great teacher, Susie Garcia. Coming on Friday as our guest teacher.
Susie's great.
We've got 2 weeks left with her, but it's awesome.
Only 2?
No, I know. She's taught all month, but she's amazing. And then also you have our amazing teachers every single day. And I just love them. I love all the comments. I love how you guys love on them. I love everything about this whole network and this whole platform. So thank you all for always watching and joining and being a part of Healing Journeys today.
All right. We love you guys. Have a wonderful week. This is HARTbeat, Butch and Julieann. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.